Hi there. In this lecture we see Mikhail Tal playing against Lozov in 1952, Riga. We see the English opening being played by Mikhail Tal, very flexible as far as his opening choices. Makes him a more difficult target to prepare for, potentially. After e6 we see knight f3, d5, and the game transposes actually into a variation of the Queen's Indian defense. So we have b6 here, knight c3, bishop b7, knight e5. This is actually a key move, which is very, very popular in this position, and usually white ends up with a small nagging edge. So queen c8 was played. We have c takes, and now knight takes d5 is played. You might think, well, hold on, why not take with the pawn? Yeah, but bishop g5 sets black some problems here with d5. If c6, then white can take and play e4. This is actually rather justified here. This is a very, very annoying position for black. There's a threat potentially of knight d6, among other things. White has a nagging edge for sure. So black chose actually knight takes d5. We have knight takes d5, bishop takes, and now e4, bishop b7. So you will notice some things about this position. There's no defensive knight on f6, which means h6, the h7 pawn rather, is more vulnerable than usual. That's one key thing about this. There's also this semi-open c-file, which is very nice to have sometimes. And white plays against both these things with this next move, queen c2. Of course, it does kind of weaken d4 a little bit, but is black in a position to put a lot of pressure on white's centre. There was an alternative. Instead of queen c2, bishop f4 was also kind of interesting to consider. And if c5, d5, this is very pleasant for white as well. But queen c2 is a very interesting move here. We see c5. In any case, now d5, rook d8. So is white's centre vulnerable? Well, actually, guess what Mikhail Tal plays in this position, which is pretty nifty for 100 points. White's play. Okay, a pin is set up. Bishop h3. Nice pin. We have queen c7. And now bishop f4, protecting the knight and threatening horrible things like knight takes f7 to hit the queen. We have bishop d6. And guess what Tal plays in this position for 100 points? This really sets off fireworks here in a sparkling way. So white to play. Okay, believe it or not, knight takes f7. A lot of things are coming together here with this knight sacrifice. And Tal has a reputation of thinking about knight sacrifices all the time. But in this case, it does seem to be a dismantling knight sacrifice with certain pawns in target. Well, not just the one taken, but h7 and e6. King takes is played. If queen takes, then bishop takes e6 is winning that queen. If bishop takes f4, then knight takes d8. And if queen takes, bishop takes e6 check. This is very pleasant for white. So yeah, it's a very powerful knight takes f7. We see king takes f7. So this does kind of weaken h7. So that's something to bear in mind for this next idea. After bishop takes e6 check, king e8. Guess what Mikhail Tal plays here, which is very, very powerful. So the king's really come back to the centre. In effect, white's rooks are connected. Is this a Paul Morphy game? These pieces are still sleeping in bed. Well, okay. What would you do here to try and energetically exploit the king on the e-file now? Very logical move for 100 points. Okay. e5, yeah, open things up further. We have bishop f8. If bishop takes e5, then actually we can actually play a very, very nifty idea here, as well as the obvious things, more obvious, well, in some way. We can actually play this, queen takes h7, because if taking on f4, queen g8 check, and we have this check, and then the queen is actually a major target. It's unprotected after. So yeah, there is kind of vicious tactics here after e5. We have bishop f8, and Mikhail Tal casually just takes this guy. Queen takes h7. So for the piece sacrifice of one knight, he's got a lot of pawns here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 against 4. So 3 pawns for the knight. King in the center. He's still got the attacking bishop pair. Central pawn mobility and lots of checks available. What more can you want? We see rook takes d5. Queen g6 check. King d8. Bishop g5 check, which has a very, very nice idea after bishop e7. Guess what that is here? White to play here for 100 points. Very, very nice attacking idea. Yeah, queen f7, just trying to get onto that back row. So white is threatening queen f8 here with that pinned piece, or if taking queen f8 is mating. These escape squares of the king being taken up means these checks are often much more effective than usual with mating threats. We see knight d7, just to put clearly on the board. Bishop takes. There will be a weakness of the last move. Queen f8 is checkmate. So knight d7, but doesn't really help. Guess what Tal plays here? Well, there's different ways to win here, but queen g8 was chosen with a mate next move. So black resigned. If knight f8, we're just gonna, yeah, the power of the pin piece, or pawn is illusionary, as they say, so it's not really controlling f8. So we can celebrate that. Queen takes f8 will be mate. So yeah, a really, really cool game here. Very, very interesting how Tal plays even a very positional looking opening, but finds a way to really tear into the black king position with a very, very powerful knight sacrifice later. So that knight on e5 has a duality to it, not just the positional knight, kind of trying to restrain some of black's options, but it becomes a tactical knight in Tal's hands. He's looking at these soft spots around the opponent's king like a hawk looking for prey. And after rook d8, we do see a kind of weakness of the last move, and that really is a hot spot with the king, the only one defending. f7 after, so definitely a weakness of the last move implication here. So bishop h3 though, and now bishop f4, and the whopping knight takes f7. Yeah, a really crushing blow here. Wonderful stuff. Exhilarating. It's an exhilarating attacking ride when we see a Tal game like this, in my view. Thanks so much. Hi there. Thanks for getting to the end of the YouTube video. If you would like to see other Mikhail Tal games, I actually have an amazing course for Mikhail Tal, which is currently at 4.9 with over 400 students. You can check this out from the Kingscrusher TV page. So Chess Strategy and Tactics, Mikhail Tal's amazing games. You can check out some free preview videos as well here. If you do expand all sections, you can see the preview links to get some free previews. So I hope you do check out this course index and the free previews. So I really had a thrilling time actually checking out Mikhail Tal's games. So yeah, the YouTube video here you saw was just a sample from this course. I hope you check it out. Okay, thanks so much. Oh, by the way, comments, questions, likes, shares, all appreciated. And if you did get to this part of the video, please do leave some sort of comment like Tal fan. Okay, thanks again.